So, we're in the post-PC era, right? That's the question I'm sure that everyone's asking. We talked about tablets, we talked about phones. Now, you wouldn't expect a top Intel executive to be on stage and agree with this, right? So, who would be a better audience that might have a little bit more credibility on this topic? What about the youth of today? You know, the next generation of users, what would they say? Are we in the post-PC era? They say no way. This was a study that was done by Cisco, a global study of college students all over the world. 2 out of 3 students said that the PC was the most important device in their life, and they asked about a phone, a tablet, and a PC. So this is the youth that's grown up with technology that we did not certainly didn't grow up with. So whether it's a PC, a smartphone, a tablet, 2 out of 3 chose the PC. Why is it? Well, when you take a look at the different usages, some of it might be surprising, most of it isn't. But study after study, the PC is preferred when it comes to the combination of content creation and content consumption. So this is a survey, by the way, the global survey is of mobile users, mobile phone users in particular, so that when they looked across these devices, they had experience working with tablets, with phones, and with PCs. But that doesn't make us feel like we can stand still. We must keep innovating. And that's why 1 year ago, when Sean was on stage, we talked about the Ultrabook, ushering in a new era of computing. We can't stand still. We understand what users are expecting today, consumers and business. We announced Ultrabook embracing ultra responsiveness, ultra thin, ultra secure. This was this new era we were ushering in. And really, it was unleashing a wave of innovation. Behind me are about 50 Ultrabooks, representing the second major wave. So we're a year later, and we have 110 plus designs on the 3rd generation core. And you're seeing an example of 50 behind me. The point here, you can see the headings, but every major OEM, every major OEM, every major retailer across the world is embracing Ultrabook. For all the reasons we're going to talk about, we've talked about before, but we'll talk about again. There is tremendous momentum and excitement around Ultrabook. And this really is a once-in-a-decade point. We refer to the fact that when the transition happened from desktop to mobile with Centrino, that created an incredible wave of innovation and acceleration in usages, and really liberalized the user to be unwired and get out and experience a new type of computing. We'll talk about not just what Ultrabooks enable today, but what they will in the future. So what did enable this? Well, once again, we can talk about the innovation, but I think it's easier to see it because it's brought to life through your imagination and your innovation. So Art, can you give us a little idea, a view of what's inside these Ultrabooks?
Sure, and why don't we actually use the performance of another Ultrabook to look at the innovation of what actually went into making the Ultrabook. So we can do something with augmented reality, something like this. Actually take apart the CPU and each of the components.
What a better way to show up an Ultrabook than augmented reality? So let me walk through a little bit about the innovative work you've done over the last year. Display thickness is reduced 40% while also becoming more power efficient. Batteries evolved from cylindrical to prismatic, reducing height 65% while improving battery life. Keyboard thickness reduced 30%. The reduced CPU power allows for thinner thermal solutions. To deliver ultra-responsive experiences, hard disk drives transition to solid-state drives or mechanical hard drives with SSD cache. And finally, machined aluminum, die-cast metal, and composite plastics provide a much stronger chassis for ultra-thin Ultrabooks. So a tremendous amount of work from all of you. So from Intel, Shishay, thank you. Please give yourself a big round of applause. But we're just getting started. We really are on the verge of this new era. We are just getting started. And what we're announcing today is the 3rd generation dual-core launch. This would be known as the Ivy Bridge platform, but 3rd generation dual-core is officially launching today. And what this slide shows is a comparison of the prior generation, 2nd generation core, Sandy Bridge, to 3rd generation core. And you can see, as you'd expect, this is a, by the way, in the Intel vernacular, tick-tock. This is a tick. It's an improvement in process technology, although when it comes to graphics, we can probably call it a top. The performance is 22% better, 15% lower power, 2x better media and 3D graphics. And sometimes we don't talk about this as much as we probably should, but compared to a 3-year-old laptop that you might own and have at home, the graphics performance is 19 times better than the 3rd generation. So we're continuing to raise the bar, including integrated security. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this 3rd generation core platform will unleash more Ultrabook innovation as well. Let's start with how we can raise the bar, what we're doing to raise the bar for consumers on Ultrabook. And let's start with responsiveness. Last year, you may remember we talked about Rapid Start for fast resume. Well, this year we have Smart Connect that allows you to update content even while the notebook or the Ultrabook is asleep. So that means when your lid is shut and there's a wireless access point, your email can be updating when your lid is shut. It's much more convenient, user-friendly, makes you more productive. We also have capabilities on responsiveness offered by Thunderbolt or USB 3 to quickly get the content on or off your Ultrabook so you're not waiting. Ultra thin, more stylish. Well, last year you delivered a number of ultra thin designs. This year, with even lower CPU power, as I showed you, and advances in material, they're going to allow even more innovative devices. Designs. You're going to see some in a bit. And then finally, there's the greater peace of mind and security. This is increasingly becoming more and more important, whether we realize it or not as consumers. Businesses get it. I think consumers probably don't quite get it yet. Last year we talked about anti-theft and identity protection. Anti-theft protects your data if your Ultrabook is stolen. Identity protection helps you securely shop, bank, online. Both very important. Nobody wants to lose the asset. Your Ultrabook, nobody wants to lose their data. So anti-theft, identity protection, we're taking into a much higher degree of focus in this next generation of Ultrabooks. These are going to be enabled really what we'll call out of the box. We're now having support in 22 countries with 11 languages. So we've really raised the bar on what I'll call security or that peace of mind with this generation of Ultrabook. But as we talked about earlier, Ultrabook is not just for the consumer. What we're doing is we're raising the bar with Ultrabook by bringing vPro, which is what IT has been demanding and deploying for the last 5 or 6 years in the enterprise. IT wants to lower the cost of managing the PCs and get better security. That's what vPro does. So now vPro is offered on Ultrabooks. And this is important because consumerization of IT is happening. We're all consumers. We love the stylish, cool designs. We want to bring them to the enterprise. So now you've got conflicting priorities between a CEO that wants to support his employee base, but also understands that the CIO wants to support security and safety in the enterprise. vPro bridges that with consumer appeal and IT approval. So now everyone wins. But you know what? That's not good enough either. Because you know what? We can raise the bar even higher. we're raising the bar on more natural interaction. We're making progress with the Nuance partnership, which we announced at CES in January. You're going to see it live here in a bit. But when it comes to more natural interaction, we all know touch is just around the corner with Ultrabooks, because Windows 8 will be launching and enabling touch. We've all used touch, many of us on phones and tablets, and it's going to offer an exciting degree of innovation. Many of you have seen it. We're going to showcase some of the great designs we're seeing on touch, but again, I can talk about it. It's probably much better to hear about it. So I'd like to introduce one of our most innovative, fastest growing customers, based right here in Taipei. Please welcome Jim Wong, the president of Acer. Jim, great to see you, and I can't wait to see what you're going to show us on what Acer's doing and innovating around touch.
I think touch is natural, and that's a very intuitive way for you, for human beings. We all grow up learning to touch and to speak before typing and writing, right? So touch is so important, and touch that's in the last few years also evolved so fast. So the smoothness is so important for that. I'm carrying with me that's the Acer's that's the 11.6, and the Full HD that's the tablet with me. So I'm just to show you that this is so responsive, and this is very basic for a touch product.
Excellent. Yeah. You've got a tablet format here, and I know Acer, and I saw another device sitting up here, Jim, and I'm eager to hear all the great work you're doing with touch on a tablet, on a core processor as well. What are you doing around Ultrabook and touch, Jim?
Well, I think, let me show you that. Okay. And when I'm showing you that, I just continue my saying. So,
nice Ultrabook, nice thin Ultrabook. I like it.
Actually, this is not one, this is two. One for you and one for me.
Ah! That is ultra thin.
Again, you can see the touch smoothness of that. So this is not only thin, it's also including touch. This is so thin, it's half the thickness of the regular notebook as of today, including touch. And the thickness is less than 12 millimeters. So that's why we call it ½ inches and less.
A lot of engineering work needs to get done. We talk about consumer appeal and style. There's a lot of work that needs to get done to get a design as sleek and look as this. And can you say something about the fact that there's no compromise on performance?
Of course, this is using the third generation, the Intel core technology. And in order to do this, we have to solve all the problems. The thinner the profile, the more demanding from the users about the thermal comfort and the lower the process noise. So this one we are working with Intel closely on the hyperbaric cooling system into this one, and we make it so thin still with very low process noise and thermal comfort, so users won't feel the heat at all when they use this.
Excellent, Jim. What an exciting innovation again by Acer. Look forward to seeing these in the market, and I want to thank you for the great work you're doing, and thanks for sharing it on stage.
Sure. Yeah, that's my pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. As Jim said, I think touch is a real game changer. He showed the great work he's done on a tablet and how that's extended now to an Ultrabook. We really believe that touch is going to be essential for the Ultrabook experience. You know, from smartphones to tablets, consumers are growing to expect to have that touch capability. And Windows 8, when it comes out, will deliver a great touch experience. So if you remember, a year ago we announced a $300 million Ultrabook fund that was backed by Intel Capital. What we're announcing today is that we're going to step up Intel to lead touch. You see a number of partner companies on here, TPK, Intech, Enhanced Touch, and Kando. We're investing, Intel is, to help jumpstart factories and to help enable roughly 3 to 5 times the forecasted demand and capacity that is currently in place. Frankly speaking, we're betting on touch becoming a big deal. We think it's a game changer. We think consumers are going to touch. And it's focusing on high quality 13-inch plus panels. So it's focused on high quality. There's plenty of touch panels, 11-inch and below. So we're making an investment here with these companies to help accelerate capacity and make sure when the consumers are asking for touch, going into the retail stores, the industry is already set up to supply. So as an industry, let's embrace, let's accelerate, because we at Intel love accelerating transitions. That's how you can win, and that's how the consumer and business user can. And this also paves a way to what I say is no compromise. When I say no compromise, I mean an ultrabook convertible. We have raised the bar. There's no reason to compromise. If you want tablet experience, you want touch on a clamshell, or you want both. So again, here to talk about innovation in this area around ultrabook convertibles, please welcome one of the great innovators in our industry to stage, Johnny Shi, Chairman of ASUS. Johnny, once again, it's a pleasure to share the stage with you at Computex. And I remember sharing the stage with you in New York when you launched the Zen book. What can you share with the audience today around ultrabook convertibles?
Well, relentlessly raise the bar is actually the common and philosophy in intellectual share. So let me show you this incredible ultrabook convertible. I think this one is the ultimate and best demonstration, of this raising the bar. So let me show you that. Could you help me to hold a little bit?
Sure. Okay. It's a great ultrabook design, as I would expect. ASUS.
This?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
I think this is the world's most powerful and also the thinnest, the lightest Intel Core i7 tablet. Okay? So you can see how ultra responsive it is because super powerful processor, right? And you can see actually sorry, I don't know.
That's okay. You were just showing some of the tiles going back and forth, quite responsive. There's a great image showing the great graphics capability got out here.
That's right.
What does this one pop up look like? There you go.
Here we go. So you can see how smooth, how responsive it is.
Great pictures.
Yes.
And as I hold this up, it's so light. It's so light. You said that great performance. That's a Core i7.
Yeah.
So Johnny, I noticed while you're working there, looks like you have another.
Let me show you.
I'll show you one more thing. You bet.
Is this okay? Okay. I'm going to do this in instruction from I will never close my microphone.
It was worth the wait. Johnny, we're talking about the senses. That's great music we're hearing. And of course, the images proceed, of course, the touch.
Right.
But I see another point here to show the audience in terms of ultrabook convertibles, what else Asus has in there.
Sure. Yeah. This is another incredible output convertible. And as you can see, it is the same look and feel of our network. Unique, unified design, and extremely light.
Very light.
Yeah. But I think more importantly, speaking of raising the bar, let me show you. Look at this. What a beautiful black mirror finish. But this is not glass, okay?
Wow.
See? This is super power Core i7 tablet, okay? You can see how, yeah.
So you're really showing no compromise.
Right. Okay. And let me show you another amazing feature because we cannot just stop here.
It already looks like no compromise. I can't believe there's anything else you can show me, but
I think that we have to keep raising the bar. So let me show you another amazing feature. Okay? But it's a little time. Got it.
open it back up again. So I can take the screen on the side here. This will be worth it. I can tell you.
So see? When the kid is, watching the movie.
You are. Yeah. You have really shown no compromise. Let's hear it for Gianni.
Thank you. Don't forget, although this is, the two-in-one, but this is as thin and as light as our agenda. Okay? So let me present to you this incredible outdoor convertible, the Asus Taichi, as a gift.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This made my